Welcome back to round 2 of the Dark Sphere PPTQ. I'm joined in the booth by Tom Law.
Hi,
He
thank you for having me.
didn't do so very well yesterday, did you? Unfortunately.
Unfortunately not.
No.
Started off 3-1 and then lost consecutive rounds and then, yeah, that was it.
Yeah. We have Ed Miles and
Ross Cooper.
Ross Cooper today for the round 2.
Yep.
They actually lost their first round.
Okay.
But because of their table number, we thought they had won their first round.
That's fine.
But it's we'll send it down to the table and we will get them to go once
they're ready.
As soon as
So,
they're ready. Yep.
We have Ross Cooper on Jeskai Black and Ed Miles on Red Green Landfall.
Yep.
So quite the
interesting match here.
yeah, it's pretty much the like archetypal representation of what is in standard right now.
Indeed.
Jeskai Black is basically the boogeyman. Everyone's on it or trying to beat it.
Yep.
And then you have Red Green Landfall, which is the deck that keeps everyone honest. But because of the popularity of Jeskai Black, it's actually been pushed off a little bit.
Yeah, it's sort of fading in popularity at the moment. Most decks are trying to find some way to beat it and are gearing towards beating it, at which point it doesn't do so well.
I mean, last weekend Patrick Chapin actually main decked Surge of Righteousness just because he was so afraid of these two matchups. It gives you a representation of just how well represented these two decks are in standard right now. So Ed's opening hand looks like he's got creatures and spells, which is essentially what you want.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a Monastery Mentor, Become Immense, and
yeah,
didn't see what the
it
last
looked
spell
like
was.
he has a turn 1 drop. I imagine that's fine.
Yeah.
And then on the side of Ross, he's got Jace, Mantis Rider. Assuming he's got lands, that's probably a keep as well.
So they're ready to start, and looks like Ross won the dice roll, so he is on the play.
That's probably quite relevant for Ross because although the matchup is favoured towards Jeskai Black, if the Red-Green Landfall deck gets the nut draw, as it were, it can be quite difficult to win, and that applies to pretty much everyone. I think in this situation, if Ed has the turn 1 Swiss Spear, we could see the potential kind of turn 3 win, whereby he just hits him twice, and then on turn 3 he can just combo. The combo, which has been described as Splinter Twin by Paolo of Become Immense and Team of Batter Age. And we saw there's a Become Immense in his hand, so maybe we can see a very quick game here.
Yeah, he does also have the likes of the Den Protector and stuff, so he can, sort of get to a point where he can't actually be blocked anymore.
Yeah. I mean, in Ross's case here, by turn 3, he can have a Mantis Rider, but if he's been fetching like he is right now, he'd take probably just about enough pain so that even if he does block, it will still be lethal because the Swiss Bear becomes too big, even with Battle Rage, double striking, trampling as well.
Yeah, he also won't be able. He won't be able to actually get a Mantis Rider on turn 3, with the way his mana is, because he's got double blue and blue black, so
yes.
he can't actually cast Mantis Rider or Crackling Doom on turn 3, which is incredibly relevant.
And he doesn't have
any red
white.
mana.
He doesn't have white either, so he can't even represent a Surge. So he's probably in a bit of trouble here because it looks like Ed does have essentially the nut draw. I see Battle Rage at the back of the hand. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, this Jace here is going to be very lonely.
Unfortunately, so yeah, and it looks like Ed can get 3 cards in his graveyard this turn.
Yeah, so he can. I'm guessing Ross doesn't block here with the Jace, so then Ed has the choice of Titan Strengthening, yeah, and then that gives the second card. Then the Heath gives the third card. That's still not enough to win next turn.
No,
though.
unfortunately not. But
he is putting his opponent down to 13 this turn. Ross really is up against the wall already here, despite going first as well.
2 more polluted deltas in his hand.
Yeah.
So he's not really casting anything soon, unfortunately.
No. I do wonder why he sequences lands the way he did, though. I think I saw a Mystic Monastery in his hand. So if his turn 1 was Mystic Monastery, as he shows us now, then his second turn would have been.
He just drew that off the Jace.
Okay.
I don't think there was a second. I think his other land in hand was the Prairie Stream, which I assume he probably would have drawn on turn 2 then.
Sure. I mean, the weakness of the Jeskai Black deck is the mana base is very, very awkward, and sequencing makes a huge difference. As you can see right now, he's beat being beat essentially because his mana basis is not complying with him. And then now is going to probably put him to single digits this turn and potentially going to just run him over and then following turn after that.
Yeah, I think Ed was probably looking for something like another Titan Strength here.
Another Titan Strength, another fetch land will probably do it as well.
He's got another fetch, but I don't think it's enough to actually get off the
combo. No.
Although it is if he
only needs
battle rages first.
He only needs to double strike. I guess he could just battle rage first.
Because he doesn't need the trample.
But at the same time, what is Ross representing
something.
here? He's representing
Ultimate
Price possibly, negate also, and dispel as well.
Dispel, yeah.
So I think he just poked at him for one, plays a morph.
I like this play. I think he's kind of basically saying, well,
he's got the combo in hand. He doesn't feel like he wants to wait for his opponent to tap out, because at some point Ross has to put something on the board, and then at that point he gets the opportunity to basically just do whatever he wants. The Jace here isn't actually doing very much for Ross. This is probably one of the weaker matchups for the Jace. Everyone's been raving about how good Jace was, especially following the Pro Tour when the price spiked. But it's a 0-2. He doesn't want to use it to block unless he gets the free block whereby he can block and flip it. Yeah. But at the same time, if it does flip it, it's quite important for the matchup because it allows you to buy back all your removal spells.
Yeah, and I mean right now he doesn't actually have any removal spells, unfortunately.
No.
And the tripled polluted Delta hand seems to have really slowed him down this game.
Yeah.
He's not really able to cast anything, and
I think potentially he could have played. Oh, that's an interesting play. I think that would put him dead though. I think. 'Cause now he can unmorph the Den Protector. Does he unmorph Den Protector here? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
He's got another fetch, so
I think
he can
attack with play the fetch, attack with both. Whichever one gets blocked, just pump the other and kill.
Yep, that seems fairly straightforward here, because the Become Immense now costs 4 because of the fetch.
2, you mean?
Sorry. Yeah. He's got 4
4 things he can delve.
So it costs 2. So block 1, the other one kills him. So, yep. Assuming Ed knows how to play his deck.
We should hope so.
Which we would hope so, yeah. I mean, it's not too difficult to work out the red-green landfall deck. But unfortunately, that's curtains for Ross. So, are we looking at the sideboards? I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if Ed sees the kill. Yeah, his
Battle Rage and okay. So I'm guessing he held priority to do this. Okay, so there we go. That's the game. And yep, remembers to reveal the morph. Very important, although no longer a game loss offense.
No.
So, but still important.
So we'll have a look at the sideboards, see what both players will be bringing in.
Sure. So what does the Ed have in
Ed
sideboard?
has 3 Arc Lightning, 3 Rending Volley, 2 Wild Slash, 1 Yasova, 3 Outpost Siege, 1 Sarkhan, and 2 Roast.
Okay. So obvious cards in this matchup then. Rending Volley.
Yep.
Is almost definitely coming in. It kills Jace. It kills Mantis Rider.
Exactly.
Both very important cards for the Jeskai Black deck.
Kills Soulfire Grandmaster as well if they're running them.
Yep. True. In fact,
he is running 2.
He is running 2 in the main deck.
It's also the Wild Slashes.
Wild Slashes.
Deal with Jace. Deal with Soulfire. Bit of reach if he needs them.
I'm not too sure about the Wild Slashes.
He's not running any Fiery Impulse.
Sure. The problem with Wild Slash is it only kills Jace early on, and early on you really want to just apply the pressure. You don't really care for the turn 2 Jace so much.
Sure.
As I was saying, like it comes down, it loots, it just stays there. It's not going to block. It's not going to get in the way. If it does block, it doesn't matter too much.
Sure.
Whereas Rending Volley I like because it kills the Mantis Rider, which is it will block most of your creatures if you do not have any tricks. And it will even trade with like a Scythe Leopard or Snapping Gnarlid even through a landfall trigger, or 2 in the case of the Scythe Leopard.
Outpost Siege?
Potentially. I'm not sure how Ed likes to play this matchup. He could potentially try to go over the top, but that's a risky line to play. So he could potentially side in the Sarkhan as well, which would give him the like higher end. But I think, as you saw in that game, the Jeskai Black deck, because of the mana base, is actually quite like sluggish at the beginning. He just kind of wanted to put the game under before the Jeskai Black can get its feet under the table.
Sure. So he probably wants to just keep his main quite
main,
similar and
yeah.
just bring in the rending volleys.
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if he does bring in the outpost siege, but certainly I wouldn't necessarily say it definitely comes in.
Sure.
So on the side of Jeskai Black, then we have 2 Radiant Flames, 2 Surge of Righteousness, 1 Feather Dark Hub, 1 Dragon Master Outcast, 1 Wingmate Rock, 2 Transgressed Mind, 2 Duress, 1 Disdainful Stroke, 1 Virulent Plague, 1 Exert Influence, and 1 Negate. So, judging by the order in which these were written down, I think the first he's definitely ready for the red matchup, because Radiant Flames and Surge of Righteousness are probably the cards you want most in this matchup. Surge of Righteousness actually is less effective against this particular form of red aggro than traditional red aggro, because Scythe Leopards, Gnarlids, and Den Protectors make up 50% of the creatures, and they are all non-targets. However, Radiant Flames is very good. Turn 3 board wipe, pretty much perfect for what you want in this matchup, just to buy you time, because as I said, if the game goes long, Jeskai Black is definitely favoured. So basically all the cards that he wants to bring in are things to prolong the game. So things like Radiant Flame, Surge of Righteousness, potentially even something like Negate and Duresses. Negate in particular I prefer over Duress, because Duress has a tendency to kind of miss. Whereas Negate, if you hold it up, it'll serve some purpose. And you won't waste it on a blank, essentially. In terms of what's coming out, though, some of the cards in this main deck that we see here from Ross, he's got a lot of poor removal, we'll say. Like, he's running the 4 Crackling Doom, which is the norm, and I think that's probably kind of come out here. And the Dragon Master Outcast is probably quite anemic. It's a 1/1, doesn't really do very much here.
Sure, I quite like the Crackling Doom, because it's almost like a combo protection.
Sure.
Because it applies pressure, well, not applies pressure, but it does some damage, but it also allows them to easily kill their biggest creature, because they have to sacrifice their creature with the highest power. So if they become immense one of their guys, they have to now sacrifice it, because it's normally going to be bigger than everything else.
That is true. We see a turn 2 Jace here from Ross, which is
from
what
Ed,
he wants to see.
From Ed, he's actually boarded in the Roast and Outpost Siege.
Okay.
So I think
he is trying to go for the longer game. Which is interesting. The Roasts, I think that might just be because he saw the Tassigers in game 1.
I think that's probably why he saw them. He needs the way to just get through the block. That Tassiger is such a huge creature.
Exactly. But with the information we have, we actually know that he's only facing 2 actual targets for the Roasts, which is the 2 Tassigers. Oh wait, sorry, Jace is a creature. Forgot about that.
As we see
right now.
Roast killing Jace.
Yeah. So okay, the Roasts serve its purpose, I guess. But Ed's hand's actually quite sluggish. This is what I mean, like why you don't want to board in the Wild Slashes for Jace. Because in trying to deal with Jace, you're actually slowing yourself down quite a lot. See an Abbot. So the deck does have reach. Wow. Okay, that was unfortunate, I guess. And that's
interesting that he's boarded in Arc Lightning. He hasn't seen any real token makers.
No.
And all it is 3 mana kill Mantis Rider, or 2 mana kill Jason. Deal you 1.
Still 3 mana.
It's a lot of mana to do
very
little.
Much. It's a 1/1, and even if he was going long, pretty sure he doesn't want to be playing 3 mana to do anything that doesn't involve killing his opponent. So, perhaps he's expecting token makers, perhaps? Like, I've seen mentors in some sideboards of Jeskai Black. Potentially good there. But otherwise, the card isn't spectacular in this matchup. And again, Rending Volley deals with the mentor anyway.
And there's an Outpost Siege.
So,
Ed expecting his opponent to have a
Ojutai's Command,
which he does have.
So he plays around that. And this is again another example of how people are now ready for Jeskai Black. So at the beginning of the season, everyone knew about Ojutai's Command, but not necessarily playing around it, and then walk into that. But now people know that if Jeskai Black has 4 mana open, it's an Ojutai's Command.
Probably an Ojutai's Command,
And that's the perfect spot to put your Outpost Siege out and potentially grind the game out. But then again, Jace... grinding a game against Jace is quite difficult.
Yeah, almost certainly. I mean, Ed right now, he's got a few things, but not a whole deal.
He's not got a lot going on board. That's the problem. But at the same time, it plays like a combo deck. So he only really needs 3 cards to finish the game here from this point. On 18 life, a creature plus become immense plus team battle rage is just dead. So, and as we saw in the last round, you can't really afford to tap out because you will just get blown out by that exact combination of cards.
Yeah. So there we see a Tasiga off the top.
Another Arc Lightning.
Well, sorry, Tasiga played by Ross.
Yeah.
And Arc Lightning off the top, and he's drawn Forest for the turn. So
does he have another burn spell? Because he could potentially do like it's not that bad if he plays a Arc Lightning and then a Wild Slash because his Outpost Siege is on the table. It's almost like it's a 1-for-1. Almost.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the only burn spell he actually has is 2 Atarka's commands, which don't actually hit Tasiga, as it turns out. So
that's awkward. But he's got Abbots, so he can potentially just go wide here, I guess.
I think just make the Scythe Leopard and pass the turn. He's got an Atarka's command in hand that he can
utilize
if he needs to. Yeah. So.
But this is looking like a good position for Ross to be in. He's now untapped with a Jace and a Tasiga on the table.
And I think he just drew Dig Through Time as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dig Through Time's a really powerful card, and like. I'm surprised that not more people play Treasure Cruise as well. When you consider the fact that both of those cards are all formats, all stars, got banned and everything.
Yeah.
Dig Through Time's seeing a lot more play than Treasure Cruise, and for good reason. They're banned for a reason, which is basically the cards are busted. The best feeling in Standard right now is when you just top deck a Dig Through Time when you really, really need that answer, because it will find it for you.
Yeah. Here's a Radiant Flames for 3. That's going to kill Ed's creatures and leave Tasiga.
Does he have a land in hand? He could
No,
potentially save the Leopard.
No, he doesn't. He's got 2 Atarka's commands and a Den Protector. So
yeah. So this is why the matchup is quite rough for Red-Green Landfall, because if you have a slightly slower hand, Jeskai Black can quite easily just kind of claw it back with their superior spells.
Yeah, almost certainly. And that's what it looks like. That's what Ross has sort of... Sorry, Ed sort of boarded out his speed, so to speak, and he's kind of just got
like this Outpost Siege is just illustrating the point of why sometimes sideboarding. So okay, it killed the Tasiga there, but at the same time he's not really achieving his own kind of game plan.
No, and unfortunately he's only actually played 1 spell off his Outpost Siege. It's not really done much.
Yeah,
he just exiled 2 cards otherwise. So and then we see a Fiery Impulse.
And even if this game goes longer, the fact that Ed's spells are weaker on the power level than Ross's means that Ross will eventually just get too far ahead for Ed to get back into the game. Because right now Ed's probably just living off the fact that he can potentially combo Ross out. Like further than that, it looks like Ross is fairly in control, especially with Jace on that many counters and the bin being that full. He could flash back a Ojutar's command, and then the Tasiga as well.
Yeah.
So he can flash back another Ojutar's command and then go up to 22. Then he's outside of the Become Immense Battle Rage combo. And this Outpost Siege seems to like to find the sideboard cards. So another Arc Lightning here.
Yeah, Arc Lightning seems really bad in this matchup. I'm really intrigued why he brought it in.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know what his line of thinking was for that one. Like, I think potentially it is the counter sideboarding for mentors perhaps, but still it doesn't seem great right now. And he's holding on to these Atarka's commands for a long time. Perhaps he's worried, perhaps he's trying to play around Ojutar's command gaining life, but he should be able to work out that Ojutar's command isn't coming soon unless it's off flashback, because otherwise that then Protector would not have resolved.
Yeah, no, he only had 3 lands, Ross.
Sure.
So he couldn't actually counter the... He only had 3 on tap, so he couldn't actually counter the Den Protector.
That is... Yeah,
I think
right.
he's... Yeah, I think... It looks like Ross is probably just going to try an Ultimate Jace. It's a pretty big... pretty quick clock.
It is and it isn't. So in this matchup, I think I just prefer having. Wow, okay, there's another sideboard card from Alpo Siege. I don't think Alpo Siege has flipped a single non-sideboard card so far.
I don't think so. No, I think it's hit just sideboard cards.
Yeah.
So.
And they've been quite hit and miss as it is.
Wow. Would you like to give me a good spell or a really good spell or another really good spell?
Yep, I think he's just given him Fiery Impulse, which is probably the lesser of all evils there.
Yeah, I think...
At this point, I think Ed is going to struggle to get back into this game. He's on 10 life.
I think he's just going to have... I mean, he can't actually really play any creatures out, because they just get immediately...
Impulsed. So he's potentially just on the burn plan here. But he's redirecting to Jace. Okay, so Ed's worried about the ultimate himself.
Yeah.
I'm less convinced about that. It mills 5 a turn, but it's... I think I prefer keeping the Jace on a healthy loyalty so that you can flashback the powerful spells that's in your bin.
Probably, yeah. I think... Right now, I think Ed's just worried about additional Jaces and things like that.
Sure, like an emblem and then followed up by another Jace.
Yeah.
Or just an emblem and then Energize command for the Jace that goes to the bin.
Exactly.
So it's fair enough. But knowing his opponent's hand has a Fiery Impulse, and there you go, there's another Energize command. It's quite rough here, and we can see why the Jeskai Black deck keeps the red-green landfall decks out of the metagame.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, Ed has slowed himself down quite a lot this game. And it's just meant that he couldn't really apply any pressure at all.
Yeah.
You know, Ross still at 18. And I think that's from himself.
Yeah,
it's not even from Ed.
Yeah. He's cracked the fetches, I think, is where it's from. I don't think Ed's attack... Oh, no, did he play the Swiss Spear early on?
Oh, he might have played a Swiss Spear,
So one fetch and a poke from a Swiss Spear is all the damage that has been done. And I'm guessing Ross probably gained some life at some point with the Energize command as well.
I don't think he has, actually.
Has he not?
I think it's just always been
counter draw, counter or return. Okay. And here we see a dig through time. Jeskai Black going through the motions at this point. It's so far ahead. Like, this is probably why we don't see cards like Outpost Siege, which used to be kind of all-stars out of the sideboard, because even though it's good at card advantage, it doesn't quite match up to this card selection you get out of Dig Through Time, or in fact even Jace, because Jace has the whole graveyard to its disposal.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing is, you know, it used to be incredibly strong in the control matchups like the blue-black and the Esper Dragons.
Yeah.
But against a matchup that's a real hybrid, so something like this, it's really not that good. And, you know, we'll see a duress.
He did board in the duress. In response, we're going to see the Wild Slash.
The Wild Slash to Jace.
And then revealing the wooded foothills. I have a feeling here that Ed is just playing on to get more information about how Ross is sideboarded. So he's now seen a duress, which is probably sideboarded. And we see a Mantis Rider to try and clock this now. Finish the game.
You know, Ed's only at 7, so
yeah,
2 to 3 turns of this.
Ooh, Sarkhan. Is that going to resolve?
So, again, the Outpost Siege fighting him is sideboard
cards. Yep, that is correct. That Outpost Siege has found all his sideboard cards. So he's going to cast a Sarkhan here. Is he going to minus, or are we going to see a potential?
I think he minus.
So he's thinking
he's
about it.
He's probably not racing this Mantis Rider. The only thing is he's probably trying to work out if he's... What if Ross has a second rider?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like the sensible line. Like if he puts his Ross to 14, then he takes a hit. Takes a hit. Well,
goes to 4 and then...
Because Sarkhan can't be destroyed by Surge, or and it hasn't been countered, so it's on the table. He could potentially see that he could draw, and he doesn't get killed by Fiery Impulse either. So he could potentially have gone for the line where he puts his opponent to 14. Well, now it's dead. But if he had plussed it would be on 5. He would force his opponent to either attack him or the Sarkhan. That will gain him essentially the same amount of life. But he gets himself a line where he can get a Battle Rage and become immense in consecutive turns, and because that would mean that he would not be dead.
Assuming he hasn't boarded them out.
True. Okay.
Because we haven't seen any.
That is correct. I mean, we haven't actually considered what he would take out in this matchup.
No, and it doesn't look like he's taken out any of his creatures.
No.
So,
or Ataka's commands.
Or is Ataka's commands.
So it's probably the pump spells. That would make sense because the Jeskai Black has a lot of spot removal, so you don't want to 3-4 yourself.
Stuff. Yeah, I think he probably. But as we see, the flashback Colligan's command, killing Sarkhan, getting back the Mantis Rider coming down and attacking for 3, putting Ed to 4.
Finally, not a sideboard card, but I think it's a bit too late now.
No, unfortunately not. It's found lands and sideboard cards and not much else.
No.
So
he could really do it, that Rending Volley in his graveyard.
Land shouldn't actually be in his hand.
Yes, that is true. That was exiled, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'll just go stop them and let them know.
So Ed is looking for his graveyard for Den Protector targets, and I think he's just realised he's put the Wooded Foothills into his hand rather than exiling it. I think a judge has been called, and we're gonna wait for a judge to sort this problem out for us. So this is an interesting judge call as well, actually, because recently the rulings have changed for how you deal with drawing extra cards, which this could potentially be seen as drawing extra cards because he's put a card that shouldn't be in his hand into his hand.
John spotted it.
Sure. So in tradition, before the rules changed, this would have been considered a game loss because he's just drawn an extra card, even though there is potential for it to be downgraded because we know what the extra card he drew was. But under the new system, if he had drawn an extra card and we didn't know what it was, then it's still no longer a game loss. It's basically your opponent gets to see what your hand is and you get to discard it. Sure. And then, so basically your opponent gets to force seize you. But because we know what the card is, it's quite an easy, straightforward fix. It's just take it out of your hand, don't do it again. Which is what we see there. He's exiled it again. So
is it Thoughtseize or is it tucked?
It's tucked. So okay, sure. It's see your hand and then you take a card out, shuffle it back into your library.
Yeah.
So it's not even tucked. It's
well, yeah. Put it
back into the library.
Yeah, because it's basically Cleek but without the extra draw.
Yes, correct. Because you drew already when you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And then it's going down to 1 here from the Mantis hit, and a Crackling Doom finishes it off.
So, I have a feeling that we'll probably be seeing Ed maybe boarding out
Arc Lightnings.
Arc Lightnings.
I mean, he should have seen how ineffective they were in that game.
I hope so.
So I could definitely see him taking those back out. So we can see what he's taken out. He did actually take out the Battle Rages and the Become Immense.
Yep. And I assume the Titan Strength along with them. Yeah.
He's only putting in and Become Immense back in. So
has he actually boarded in all 15 cards from his sideboard?
No, he's got used over.
The card. Yeah. Sure. So we've just got an update. Yeah, the card was put back in exile as we saw, and Ed received a warning for.
It'll be a GRV.
GRV, game rule violation. Found a judge. Say who you are.
Alright, so this is Thomas Ralph I'm judging. Ed Miles committed a game rule violation drawing extra cards by having picked up the Wooded Foothills that was meant to go to exile. Because both players and indeed the observing and the observer were able to verify that that was the valid card that he picked up and there was no dispute over that, we've simply moved it to where it should have been. You may also be familiar with the penalty of players getting Thoughtseized. That doesn't apply here because the card was uniquely identifiable to all players, so there's a lesser penalty in that situation.
Thank you, Thomas. And so we're moving into game 3 here, and Ed is back on the play. Okay. And we saw that he didn't sideboard back into his aggro plan.
Interesting. I think he should have.
I personally think so too, but I'm interested to know why he
didn't.
Yeah. Because it might be because that you would assume that the matchup is bad because you're trying to aggro. So that is the reason why it was bad before. Because Jeskai Black is ready for you to aggro them, so they have surges, clerics, Ojutai's command just to stop you. So maybe he's trying to go from a different angle and try and obsolete some of these cards in Ross's deck, which is interesting. But at the same time, it does feel like you're fighting an uphill battle when you're trying to grind someone out with dig through times and Jaces and Ogetize command.
Yeah, the sort of overall card quality that Ross has in terms of the power level of his cards, the ease in which he can find them, seems that, you know, he probably shouldn't try. Ed shouldn't try to grind this match up.
No.
He should try and finish it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
As we can see, he left in the Arc Lightnings again.
Yeah.
I really dislike this card. Not just in this matchup, in the meta in general. I mean, there are a few token strategies going on at the moment. You know, you've got your Bant, you've got your Esper, you've got all of the different color combinations. But the only one that it's still very rarely going to be a 1-for-1.
Well, the token strategies trade off the fact that your token generators are essentially virtual card advantage, because one card generates 3 creatures or 2 creatures. So actually Arc Lightning is still only trading for 1-for-1, which is part of the problem here, because you're still trading 1-for-1. So one Arc Lightning for 1 Mantis Rider, Jeskai Black's fine with that. That's
exactly.
their game plan usually, where they just want to trade 1-for-1 and then they're going to refuel with a dig and slowly bury you in card advantage.
And that's what it seems. It seems that the
it feels
Arc
to me
Lightning doesn't feel very good in this matchup.
No, and I feel like in this matchup, Game 1 was a perfect illustration of what you want to try and do.
Exactly.
You want to make creatures, and you want to just attack their life total. And in this sideboard plan of Ed's, he's not really achieving that, because his spells are a lot less efficient in terms of mana to damage ratios. So 3 mana for 3 damage is obviously not the rate you want to be paying. You can get much better than that. Even in his own deck, a Tarkus command can deal more than that for just 2 mana.
Yeah, and also, you know, it's.
Although we are seeing that Ed did have the turn 1 Swiss Spear, and the Swiss Spear is getting in for some damage. So Ross is being pressured better than he was in the second game, at least.
Yeah, and I really dislike this here. I don't know why Ed just didn't go for 2 to the Jace, 1 to the face with the Arc Lightning. It's literally not doing anything, and he's not using his mana effectively.
Well, I think the train of thought here is that he can use the Rending Volley here on the Jace, and potentially the Arc Lightning can go to face if he needs to reach.
I guess, but the Arc Lightning, I mean, the Rending Volley has better targets.
Sure, it has Mantis Rider as the other target.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's actually a better target, but it's definitely more mana efficient, because if he had spent the 3 mana last turn, this turn he would be able to spend 1 mana on the Rending Volley, and he would be able to potentially cast another spell. Oh, he has another Rending Volley in hand, so it's...
Sure. I think if he... Yeah, I think he's probably looking at potentially using the Rending Volley and a...
Den Protector?
Den Protector, yeah. Oh, okay, so there we see the 3 Arc Light. The Arc Light.
So he's got to hit for 2. I think this line is, again, it feels like he's compounding on his like earlier kind of inefficiencies. So if he had turn 3 the Arc Lightning, and then Rending Volley this turn, playing the Den Protector, the following
he would have gotten more damage as well.
Yeah, and then the following turn his opponent now has to play another kind of creature to potentially stall it, or hold up Ogetize command, and you've already got your creatures on the table, so you don't care about Ogetize command.
Exactly, and I think if if Ross is passing with 4 mana here, then
it becomes very awkward for Ed, because it means that he can't play his Den Protector. But Ross goes for the Jace. I think I did see an Ogetize command and also an Utter End in hand.
So I'm not sure if I saw an Ogetize command, but I saw a negate. I think it's Colligan's command.
Sure, it's a gold card. There's definitely a negate, and there's another Rending Volley, which cannot be negated.
I think he just tipped off what he has in hand there.
Yeah, just a tad. But
the old
no. You could try to counter it though, but it just
wouldn't counter.
Yeah, still a legal target. So
there's the Ogetize command.
Yeah. It was interesting that he chose to cast the Jace rather than leave a mana up for the Ogetize command. Potentially because he values the Ogetize command to do something else.
Yeah, I think he's probably just going to go for the attack here. Basically say, what have you got, Ross? Ross is at 6.
Yep.
So
quite a low life total, and if he ever taps out like he is having to do that so now, although that doesn't actually do very much, he wants to.
No, unfortunately not.
No. But he does get a Jace, and it will flip on his turn if he needs it to. And he's back up to a relatively healthy life total of 10, but I think we do see it become immense in the hand of Ed, which is 6 plus the Swiss Spear, that's 8.
He does actually have.
Does he have the Battle Rage?
He has.
Well?
No, he doesn't have the Battle Rage, but he has. But Ross has double Fiery Impulse.
Okay.
Essentially, because he can Fiery Impulse and then flash it back, or he can just go for a Kolaghan's Command.
That is true.
But I think you want to flash back it and hold up the negate.
Yes.
Because
you want to be protecting yourself from the combo.
Protecting yourself completely, yeah. And I think, you know, there is still the chance that Ed just goes, okay, sure, you've tapped yourself out, Mentor, Battle Rage.
Swift Spear, Battle
Sorry,
Rage.
yeah, Swift Spear, become immense, Battle Rage, you're dead.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
That is the Red Deck's 3-card combo. And the plus on the Leopard does similar things. Oh, and we see Kolaghan's Command to kill the Scythe Leopard and make Ed discard a card.
Yeah, I guess that's what's going to happen. So,
what was he discarding here, though? Probably the Sarkhan? Or was it not discarding? Was it 2? What was the second mode on that Kolaghan's Command, then?
Mantis Rider.
Oh, he returned a Mantis Rider to his hand.
Mantis Rider,
okay,
yeah.
That's fair. So we're going to see a Sarkhan come down here.
I really like Sarkhan here, because it's not dying, it is still dying next turn.
Potentially he doesn't need to cast the Sarkhan here. He could just go with the, you have Ojudice commands, I'm going to play my creature first, because Sarkhan can't be Ojudice command. So
true, but it can be negated, which he probably knows about.
Sure, that is true, yeah.
I think if I'm Ed here, I play the Sarkhan and attack Jace.
Well, he does also know that his opponent has a Mantis Rider, which he's probably going to play. So what he could do is play the... Okay, so he could have also played Den Protector, returned his Rending Volley ready for the Mantis Rider.
Yep, this is true.
But this play also works, I guess, because he can plus and attack the Jace.
Yeah, unfortunately he doesn't have the extra mana to...
become immense. Otherwise that would have been lethal. But that seems fine, because the Jace now can't... it can't plus on the Sarkhan, and it also can't flashback. But Ross is going to pass the turn with mana up. The negate is probably going to be quite key here, because I imagine Ed is probably trying to go on lethal here. Unless he's going for Jace again. Oh, Utter End. That's
a good one.
That's a good one. Although probably a little bit hasty. Probably could have baited out the Become Immense first, but
yep.
We'll forgive him for that, because he's probably still fine here using the Utter End there.
Yeah.
And we do see the morph.
Not so mysterious morph. We know it's a Den Protector.
Yeah, I mean, the red-green deck doesn't play any other morphs other than the Den Protector, I believe. I mean, you could potentially play the Ire Shaman, which is...
Yep.
I'm surprised it didn't see play before Abbott got printed, but now Abbott's been printed, it's kind of obsoleted. It costs more mana, and it doesn't really achieve much more. The prowess on Abbott's actually very relevant as well.
Yeah.
And we are now going to see Ross slowly take over the game as he grinds things out with Jace. And this is why Jace is so good, because he's very, very hard to kill. He took a hit from a 4-power creature, and he's still alive.
Yeah.
Against a red deck, which you would expect to be able to kind of deal with 6 points of damage, but he protects himself too, which is what you want from a Planeswalker. He has a relevant protective ability and a very relevant utility ability, and his ultimate, sure, you win the game with it. So
yeah, one of the problems with these new red decks is, you know, they don't have the reach that they used to anymore. They don't have the burn spells and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely lacking in the Stoke the Flames department. See the Rending Volley on the Mantis Rider. Ross is on 10. Do we know what? It's still got a negate, so he's still protected from the Become Immense line here.
Yep.
But is Ed gonna? He's actually got lethal if he. Okay, he's not going for the kill you plan. Probably respecting the negate.
Doesn't have lethal.
Ross is on 10. So
but the Jace minus on the Den Protector, so it's 1.
4. So
he
3
only
plus
has
4.
9.
He has 9. Okay, sure. Wild Slash to Jace, and Jace is gone. No? Okay.
Jace is on 1,
Jace is on 1. That's interesting too.
Ross is on 9 though, so...
Yeah. So he is now dead to the Become Immense, but then there's the Jace plus.
Yep.
So, and he's still got a negate.
Yeah.
But his hand is only 2 cards now, one of which requires his opponents to do something to be useful. And the second card is Ojutai's Command, I think I saw. I'm not sure. But he is sort of on the ropes, but not quite, because... Oh, Tasiga.
Oh, there's Tasiga. That's probably going to change everything.
Potentially. Especially if he can exile enough so it costs, so he can leave 4 mana up as he is doing so here.
Yeah.
So he can activate it at the end of turn if he needs to. Potentially could have just actually gone for the full exile, because he probably wants to get rid of cards in his graveyard.
I think all of the cards in his graveyard currently are in so high power that he's happy getting any of them back.
Sure, but he can have a slightly better selection of things.
True.
Like, he probably doesn't necessarily want to return like the Mantis Rider when he's got Tasiga on the table, for example. And his opponent, like, or even the second Jason in the graveyard is probably superfluous here. But I can see him trying to be mana efficient as well. At the same time, he could have left 5 open, leaving him with 4 mana for the Tasiga and still represent a Dispel. Not sure what that achieves, but you know,
Yeah, I think
minor things.
Yeah, Ed's drawn another Den Protector, I believe. So I think he's just trying to work out what he wants to do with that.
So I guess we're going to find out whether Ross does have another Ojutai's Command very shortly. If he does, then this game is pretty much all but over, I think. The Ojutai's Command allowing him to get rid of the Den Protector, and we see it become immense here, which will be snap countered by the negate. And he's forgotten to exile first, so. But I think it's just pretty obligatory at this point. I guess he does have Den Protector, so it is relevant.
Yep.
But his graveyard is just full of spells that Ross hasn't cared about up to this point, and probably still doesn't care about.
No. I think he's left
Rending Volley,
Swift Spear, Rending Volley,
and then the Den Protector, which has got to the graveyard. And he's going to play Morph and pass the turn. And Jace is still there.
Yeah. If I'm Ross here, if I'm Ed here, I quite like getting back the second Den Protector.
Yes, that is
to keep chaining them together.
Yeah, you will pretend to be playing Megamorph.
Yeah.
To get a chain going, albeit without the Death Mist Raptor to really get the engine going.
Yeah.
That's another interesting deck that we might see across the day. Like Green White Megamorph is quite a good deck in the metagame, because it does it can, like Jeskai Black, it can attack on many angles, and the good old Megamorph engine is very, very powerful and very hard to grind out. He's going for it again. He knows about the comments. Snow blocks. Oh, he returned a Den Protect. Oh, he attacked the Tasiga, sure. And he did have another Ojutai's Command in hand. So he's going to counter the Den Protector and return the Jace. Interesting that.
Yeah, I think if you're Ed here, you can see the writing on the wall. I think
so too.
He probably wants to. He's probably gonna.
Maybe his line here is to loot, flip the new Jace, and then flashback a removal spell on the Den Protector.
Yeah.
Because
the only way he's losing really is this Den Protector. So
yeah, and like he's probably, his last card is Dispel, I think, which means that he is protected from the combo, so he can't just get suddenly become immense and out of the game. We do see the flip Jace choosing to sacrifice his older Jace.
Yep.
So that he refreshes the counters basically. And what does he choose to do here? I think he's already plussed once on the Den Protector, so it's now a 1/2. So he is safe from the become immense, but he is choosing the flashback and Colligan's command to do 2 to the Den Protector and discard a card, which puts Ed at 0 out at this point. He can make a blocker, but then that's just kind of delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
So probably just see. Oh, Abbott. Okay, I didn't think of that. That does give him more outs.
Don't think that's enough though.
well, he
two
gives
blockers.
he gives him 2 blockers. So the reason why I said he was out is that he could only continually draw blockers. But having 2 blockers means that he can now have a blocker to chump, and then have 1 guy left, so he can then draw some way to win the game. Still not ideal. But
No.
But he could potentially do it. He's activated Tasiger. This graveyard looks like just no.
Yeah.
To Ed. He gives him to Jace because it doesn't immediately do anything. But another Ojutai command, so Ross is very much in control here. He could even gain life with the Ojutai command, and that will keep him safe.
Yeah. Interesting. Ross is electing to plus Jace before attacking.
If he doesn't plus Jace beforehand, well, Ed has no cards in hand, so yeah, there's no real potential to do anything there. But yeah.
No, but as in
he allows Ed to block with the one that's not minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. He probably should have Jaced afterwards, and
because it allowed Ed in theory to. I mean, obviously, if Ross doesn't really have anything in hand, which he doesn't.
Yeah.
It would have allowed Ed to basically go, okay, sure, I'm gonna. If Ross didn't have the Ojutai command.
Yeah.
It allowed him to draw a Become Immense on his Abba, make it a 9/8 and kill him.
Sure. I mean, I think the line there, he knew that one of them had to block.
Yeah.
So he should have waited for one of them to die first, to then select which one he wants to give the
but I think
voodoo to.
Yeah, I think he just.
I think that was the game.
Here's a Jace from my graveyard.
Just finished the game there.
Yeah. So there you go. Jeskai Black winning 2-1 to Red Green Landfall. Ed unfortunately falling to 0-2.
Yeah, which is probably what we expected in the matchup, because you have game 1. It's probably slightly Red Green favoured.
Yep.
Because they are slightly quicker, especially when he was on the play, I believe. So yeah.
So we're just going to bring it back to the booth.
So it was an interesting play out of how you expect that matchup to go.
Yeah.
So game 1, Red Green deck is slightly faster, so it would run you over. And then game 2, Jeskai Black gets a lot of cards out of the sideboard, which allows them to buy more time. So like Radiant Flames, as you saw in game 2, just completely wiped the board and left Ed with nothing on the table, and a couple of burn spells and sideboard cards that weren't really doing anything.
Yeah.
And also, like, in addition to that, you still have the Surge of Righteousness and like other incidental life gain, like Oshitai's command. It makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
And also, with the way that Ed's sideboard is, it kind of played into that game plan of delaying the game for the Jeskai player, which meant that it kind of made it easier for him. And we saw the power of Jace in both those sideboarded games. It just stays on the table, buys you a bit. After you've got through the first phase, he will take over the game. It's just in those first few turns when he's a 0-2 Merfolk Looter that he's less effective. But once he does flip, he's very difficult to get rid of for the Red Green Landfall player.
Excellent. So that was round 2.
Yep.
So we have 5 more rounds plus the top 8.
Yep.
So we will be taking a short break. We'll be back with you for round 3.
Yep.
It will be you'll be joined by John and I'll be stepping down.
Yep. Okay.
So we'll see you guys soon.
Yep.